Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to use one of the luxe decoupage papers by Aussie Decor Transfers. This is Christmas Hoot. It's in the Christmas range, and I'm going to make a Christmas stocking hamper. It's basically a bag, if you will, to wrap presents in. Instead of paper, you can put them into a bag. So I'm going to use the luxe decoupage paper as my decoration, and I'm using this here is this here is a fusible wedding. So it has a backing sheet, and that's the webbing that you put between the material, and usually it's done between two pieces of material. I'm going to do it with the decoupage paper, and I'm going to fuse it to some calico that I'm going to make my Christmas bag with. So the first thing I need to do is lay out my fusible webbing, and I've cut the surplus white border off my decoupage paper that I'm going to use, and I need to also cut the fusible webbing pretty much exactly the same size as this to bond between the two. If you have excess fusible webbing, that's going to stick to your iron, or so what I will be doing to protect my decoupage paper is I will be putting a tea towel over and ironing. But if I have excess fusible webbing, it's going to fuse to my tea towel. So make sure you get as accurate as possible when you're fusing the two together. I would actually err on the side of less is best, because on the edges it's always nice to use your machine and put sew some ribbon or some edging around for further decoration to secure those edges once you start making the actual bag. So first off, now we'll just cut the fusible webbing to the size of the decoupage paper. Okay, so now I've gone and cut my fusible webbing to the same size as my decoupage paper, and I'm ready to fuse it to the calico material which I've chosen to make my bag. You're more than welcome to use any coloured material that you would like. I've chosen to use calico. Kind of work that out. I then need to take my backing sheet off the fusible webbing, and you could actually just use that as protection over, or use a tea towel. So we've got a fusible webbing, and we have our luxe decoupage paper. We're going to put them together, and we're going to get our placement right before starting to iron. Trying to get that right. And don't worry if your eye isn't quite straight. This is why it's a good idea to have a bit of excess running around, because once you fuse this, if you've made your image not 100% straight, you can fix that when you cut the material to start sewing to straighten things there. So just allowing that little bit extra just gives you a little bit of leeway in case there's a slight mistake in applying it straight. Okay, so we've got that placed. I'm now going to place my tea towel over. just going to do half. I'm going to move the rest and we use the iron. So you want to have the iron at the maximum temperature. Okay, now I have my iron nice and hot at maximum temp, and I've got it at maximum steam to also be nice and hot for the two to fuse together. So nice firm pressure over and slowly go over to fuse the two together. So you want to make sure that it's fusing well. So we want to really apply that heat over. Time to move everything forward. Just pick it up and across. Oh, doing so well. And lay over again and iron the rest. I'm taking my time and I'm going back over. I really want to make sure that it's fusing well, that I haven't missed any places. You can't overdo this part, you really can't. So it's best to just spend a little bit of time to keep going over with your hot iron to make sure that it's fusing to the material. I think we've got it on. Yeah. So that's where you saw the T-tail was just sticking a little bit. There was an extra little bit of fusible there that stuck to that, but it came off. It wasn't a big deal. Fine. And you can see how beautiful that looks. Okay, I've laid my calico bag that I'm going to be making a Christmas bag on my table, and I've just gone and grabbed some ribbon to put around the edges, and I've just cut the ribbon out, and I've decided on this look for it. So with the ribbon, I'll be sewing around the edges and then leaving a bit of loose ribbon for the edges. Here's the finished result of my ribbon, and I've sewn that around the edging to secure the edges and protect them for my Christmas present bag that I'm making. So the next step will be to make the actual bag, to cut the calico and sew it all together. Okay, now I've cut my bag out. So I've got it cut like that, and I've now got to sew all the edges around. The top, to tidy up, I'll be doing a rolled seam on this, and the bottom, instead of, you could just do it this, it's a very simple way to sew around the edges, but I want to have my bag to be able to sit nicely on the floor underneath the tree. So what I'm going to do is I have made triangles here, one for each side, and I will be sewing them into, let me just show you, into the corners like this, so that it will sit out, and I have another piece to make the bottom. So that's my plan. Okay, this is where I've started to sew my bag together. The first step is to put the little triangles in the bottom of the bag before then sewing up from the top to there, and do that both sides. And then once I've done that, is to then sew in the bottom. Okay, you can see here I've pinned together the bottom of my Christmas bag, and I'll be sewing that in. Easiest way to do it is sew the ends first. So I've got that one to do now, and then you can sew your sides in after you've secured your ends. And then, yeah, just pinning them in place helps. So I've now just sewn my bottom straight edge, and I'm about to do the long sides. Now, I was just talking about that you want to make sure this section is nice and strong. So what we do, we fold this section back onto the long side and start back here to start sewing here. So here we go. So that's now secured and got the base nice and strong, and it'll happen on the other side as well to do your bottom of your bag. Okay, now I've turned my bag the right way around, and I need to sew the top of the bag. What I'm going to do is do a rolling seam. So I've pinned it 4 centimeters down, and I'm just going to tuck and sew to make my nice neat edge around the top of the bag. To finish off the Christmas bag, I'm adding a ribbon and sewing it in the middle. It's about 5 centimeters down from the top of the bag, and just sewing that there for you to be able to gather the bag in and tie it off with a bow with the present inside. Now that I've completed my Christmas bag, it needs to be sealed in a water-based wax is what I'm using. So I've got this water-based spray wax, and I'm just going to spray over the top of it a wax that's going to protect it. And it's easy just to wipe over to clean it. This is something that you couldn't put into the washing machine. You just have to hand wash it by wiping down with a damp sponge, because it is a paper, but the spray wax will protect it. So all I need to do now is just grab a cloth just to wipe over and let that dry. So I've just got a paper napkin and just gently wipe it over and let the wax dry, and now it's all protected and finished. Here's the finished bag. I want to show you what items could go in it, something large. So I've just grabbed a foot bath and 2 pillows off my couch, and I'll show you that these could actually go in. There's still plenty of room. Okay, here's the Christmas bag with the foot bath and 2 pillows in, and Monty, our cat, is being a comparison size model. So you can see how large this bag is, perfect for multiple presents to put inside, ready for someone to unwrap.